Hey y'all, it's been a while, quite a while since I've done a video, and I have been working on quite a few amps, but it's sort of easier to just work on them and be in the flow. But I thought, you know what the hell, like, what am I doing here? Pull out a phone, hit record. So this is a 1964 Tremolux. I was lucky to grab this from a guy in Calgary. It had some work done on it, Fender Electric Instrument Company. Um, but for the most part, I mean, we have the Blue Ajax caps in there. And then last night I did a bunch just to make it a little bit cleaner. These resistors were all out of spec. So your 100Ks there. And I decided I would just change to new bypass caps just to be safe. I can put a note in the dog pan to say that, all electrolytics were changed as of this date. So I just went kind of through everything. I decided to add the .02 cap in the middle there because that will slow down the tremolo. I really like the slow tremolo. It's just funky and fun. There was just a hodgepodge of different resistors in there. They're like metal oxide, just every kind, metal film. I think any kind but carbon comp. So I went through my stash and just used all carbon comp where I could. Usually I just try to keep carbon comp wherever the sound flows through. If it's precision required, then I'm going to use metal carbon film, pardon me. And then up here is really tight tolerance. It says like 5% metal film, but they're like bang on, so I like that. And then that's the only ones. I didn't change those, I left those in. But these were changed. These were changed. You can kind of see the shinier color there. Obviously, this is original. These were changed at some time. They don't quite look like the original resistor, but new electrolytics. I didn't think anything would be out of spec, but turned out quite a bit was. Immediately, I saw JJ's in there for output tubes and preamp tubes, and I don't care what you think about JJ's. I fucking hate them, and I think that they are always make the amp sound worse. I've never had a pair of JJ's that I liked, and I played lots of amps with them. So yeah, screw JJ's in my opinion, but the haters be haters and comment away if you want. I don't like them. I think they make an amp sound worse. I found a really nice kind of NOS carbon comp that was bang on. I think it was like 472 or something. So I thought, why not tighten that up for future in mind. Everything else was good. What I'm doing right now is I saw a whole bunch of fraying on this cable. So at some point the guy replaced it to a three-way and ran it through the outlet, which I've just snipped out. I'm gonna just screw the outlet because nobody uses it. I'm gonna make a negative feedback switch on the ground switch, and I think that'll be really cool in a Tremolux. I'm not sure if it'll do much. If it does a little and adds a little bit of dirt, grit, volume, I think that would be a really cool mod. So I will definitely do the switchable NFB, and then I'm going to wire right to the switch and then to the fuse. I like it that way. Here's somebody's initials. AF4F. I don't know. If you guys know where these stamps come from, let me know, because I haven't seen them in other early mid-60s amps, or maybe just didn't notice. So anyway, this was all frayed. It was exposed, so I've just stripped back as much as I can and snipped off the hot lead coming in. And then I'm going to get some heavy-duty heat shrink and make a solid connection and then go from there. The rest jacket seems to be okay, but yeah, it was actually exposing the copper through it, and I didn't like that. So we'll snip the neutral off, and we'll put that right to the other end of the power transformer. And then I am going to solder that to ground. Yeah, these things are, where the hell is my hand? These things are really in there, so I'd be surprised people pulling it out or using the amp as a lasso or dragging it by its cord, but hey, why not, right? So yeah, I'll get that one nicer and directly soldered with the big iron. Where's my big iron? This guy here. So we'll get that going on. I scratched off the chassis metal last night with a screwdriver, so we'll have plenty of bite. I'll put some cleaner on there just to get rid of any old 1960s, 70s fume smoke that might be permeated on the metal there. But anyway, that's it for now. I just thought, I watch these amp videos all the time. I love them. They're pretty much my favorite television show. I don't watch any normal TV. I just watch YouTube. So it's not in bad shape for a 64. It's definitely not mint. It's been played. And for the most part, it did come to me fairly original, other than some maintenance that someone, did change some drifting resistors and filter caps, and that's always good. And, somebody changed the cord, decent enough, working enough, but I just want to get that refreshed. And the negative feedback switch, I think, will be cool. And yeah, clean the pots, clean whatever switches, and then things will be good. So stand by. Thanks for the number of viewers that watched the Gibson Falcon video, and I do hope to try to do a few more of these, although they might be in this kind of manner where they're sort of ghetto or trailer park or whatever. I'm going to turn on my phone and rock and roll. But, oh yeah, this is a really neat mod I read about that was done. This is, you switch off the intensity of your tremolo. And so you can take the tremolo right out of circuit, and it gives a whole bunch of extra volume to your amp, because now there's no draw through the tremolo circuit. And that is really, really cool. So consider that. There's definitely Google articles. So, it's a good feature. I know it kills originality to have the switchable, but from the outside, you'd never know it, because it's just a switch on, switch off. And man, if you just want to get a little bit of extra flavor out of the amp by taking some extra draw out of it, it really is quite great. So it's sort of, it's basically taking you into the what do they call it, normal channel. However, it still adds this flavor that comes through the vibrato channel, probably just because there's some drifted resistors there, and there's just little things that make it unique. If you're not looking to preserve your amp as like a museum piece, or show it off at a original Fender swap kind of club, that's really neat, and it does a great job. And I was just thinking, a lot of you are probably going to say, hey, like, why don't you just don't be so lazy and change the cord? And part of me thinks you're right, but on the other hand, I want to get this amp done and back to playing. The onus is on me to make sure, and I feel that that wound together very tight and very nice, and soldered very well. So I'm going to shrink sleeve that, and I tell you, I bet you that joint is better than some of the Chinese electrical cord you can buy today. So I trust it. And this beautiful Ampeg here, this is a 1964 ET2B. I want to get that one on. I just refreshed this concert This is a 62 concert, G6G12A. It's freaking awesome, and it just blew my mind. It always sounded amazing, and I did kind of the first refresh on it, and boy, it was like, oh, it was like 20% better, which was incredible to feel. And then this is a Soundmaster I got from, it was just a score from like a pawn shop kind of thing. And it's like a 1930s old PA system, just 15 watt. Mic 1, mic 2, your phono and your tone. And I don't know what they would have used this for originally. It's just a nice, cool old lunchbox amp, which came with 807 tube, where the plate is on the top and you have a different lead going to your plate. And it's a beautiful sound. I just converted kind of the basics, like 1/4 inch inputs and some guitar kind of grid stoppers and stuff to make it more suited for guitar. And in its original design, it would have let in every frequency you can imagine. So in today's Wi-Fi and God knows what in the air versus yesteryear's 1930s frequencies in the air, it's a lot more intense now. So you definitely want to block out every frequency you can. And anyway, it is amazing. It breaks up so early, and it's got a great sound. Maybe we'll get to that one. And then this is a 66 Super Reverb. I just also refreshed this one before the concert, and it blew my mind. So it's this craft for all of you that do it. I love doing the work. I love kind of seeing and touring the history of the amps and what was done inside and all that. But when you put it all together and you do it your way and the way you feel is best to bring the most out of an amp and, you know, restore its originality, and it sounds great, it sounds better than before, that is great. And that's just kind of a knockoff cabinet. I don't think that's an original Fender cabinet, but it might be. It's definitely not the original grill cloth. That's oxblood that the Tremolux sits on. And then here's our old friend, the Gibson, the 1964 Gibson, and it is, I love it. All these vintage amps just have their own character. So I think someone's been in here and has done a lot of experimenting or crap or I don't know what. Things just don't seem to be the way it was designed. So I'm going to restore that back to originality, the original circuit. This is really cool because it's got two reverb rockets in one amp. It's 2 amps in one. And it's got an amazing sounding tremolo. It's really, really cool. And then you can blend the tremolo between the 2 speakers to get even more of a wah-wah type sound and off kilter the tremolo between the speakers. It's really neat. So anyway, I'm looking forward to bringing that one back to how it should sound and seeing what the hell was done inside, because I have no idea. So stay tuned for that one. Anyway, back to the patient at hand here. Yeah, so I'm gonna this all started with me saying, hey, don't give me shit on the not replacing the cord. Yeah, so I'm gonna get this thing going, do the things I talked about earlier, and play some rock and roll through it. And that's the finished job there. I use 2 sleeves. This is a really heavy wall stuff. I don't use too much. I wanted to make it as tough as possible and also stand out that, you know, there was something done there, and that's pretty obvious to me. But yeah, 2 of these dual shield or dual wall things is it's pretty rock solid. And the joint is good. So the other thing I wanted to point out, why I even hit record, is that somebody was using the original wiring here, which is, you know, high voltage, low current wire, and probably, what did they use, 22 or 20 gauge, maybe 22 solid wire, that was connected to the neutral and to the hot going through the switch. So I don't think there's any place or good reason for that input. I think we need to use, this is 18 gauge, it's 300 volt rated, it's UL approved, and whatever other electrical certifications it needs. But I thought that was not a very good idea. Obviously it works and it's caused no issues, because maybe just the current draw only being, whatever it is, just doesn't make it overheat. There's no signs of that. And then they used like a brush on electrical tape or some kind of epoxy here. So anyway, all that gets to go. Forgive me for that if I replace that. Yeah. All right, howdy again. I've just been wrestling with cords and whatnot. I still haven't got the ground soldered to chassis, but I did my neutral and hot, and then just push things as tight and nice to the back. All lengths are ran, as short as they relatively can be. And then I'm just finishing up this last little bit here for the negative feedback loop. So I took what came out of there in between the two Ajax caps and was originally to the auxiliary speaker. That would be your negative feedback. That's also linked to your speaker, your main speaker out. But I took that cord and rerouted it, had to extend it obviously, right to the input of the ground switch, the off of the ground switch, and then when we switch to the right, to this way, then this will activate the negative feedback as originally intended. So I'm just going to finish that up. I just thought before I get too way ahead and move on to the filter caps, I would just kind of show this last little bit. Man, I think this is going to sound so much better. Also just wanted to say, sometimes don't do what Darren does. This is my big Bertha heating up here, and yeah, I didn't really have like a proper stand for it, so makeshift stuff. It's pretty solid as long as I don't sneeze. Okay, that's much better, and I was actually able to hold it down with my I took the ring connector off and then was able to hold it down. I'm going to cook that a bit more and have the wire down more, but it's really firm. Like, I have no issue with that, although, well, I do. So I want to cook it more, and I want to get the ends, kind of more of the wire as down as possible. That'll hold, and it's definitely, that glob is stuck to the chassis really well, but I want to sink that wire down. Alright, and since I had, this big iron hot, and I don't have to take it out that much, I figured I'd retouch those two, because center taps are pretty damn important. And then I don't know what that one is. I'll have to get that right in the editing. Other than that, yeah, everything's pretty tight. I'm gonna cook that, see if I can get that a little bit more of nice like that. So maybe I'll add some more solder even and just cook it. I want it to be one kind of smooth, round, shiny dot. Okay, we got it. I had to really lean on that, and just about melted my little pliers holding it down, because this big iron's so hot. But that, I think that's got it. It's a lot more congruent, and I think probably the iron introduced some impurities, but I'll yank on that. I mean, it is actually shiny. It's probably showing some weird dull spots, but it's on there good. So yeah, I'm okay with that. And it's time to move on to filter caps, because all the hard work is done. The filter caps, easy, easy. Okay, and before I move on, you know, this old thing, it's got a lot of crap on it. So I think, you know, I'm okay with the bond. I can see it shining from here of the ground wire. But I think, yeah, that's introducing a lot of crap. So I got this from some electrical store. I'm sure it's available everywhere, but it works awesome on my little regular soldering iron. So I thought I would just see if that would do some good. Really bury it in there. Tin this thing. Ooh, smoke. Yeah. Where's it? Well, it still looks like an old piece of iron. Well, couldn't have hurt it, but it sure didn't rejuvenate it. So maybe it's time for some steel wool or even some sandpaper and just try to clean it up the old-fashioned way with elbow grease and grit. Okay, I started, see how black that steel wool is there, but I've been just scraping it in there, and comes out a lot cleaner with like a blue. It's not as clean, but it's definitely more clean of impurities now, and it's just sort of discolored, but I don't see a lot of crap on it. So I think I'll dip it in here again and then just put it away. Let this stuff just be a protective coating, and should, well, we'll see. We'll see next time I have to do a big chassis ground thing. Looks kind of ugly. Well, I don't know. This stuff's supposed to be good for them. I don't know. But at least that's some kind of coating. Let me know the better way, because I know many of you will probably know. Just probably maybe some fine sandpaper, fine grit sandpaper or something next time, just to clean it beforehand. And the joint looks really good. And of course, I did tuck the final little connector to speaker out to auxiliary speaker out. So everything's ready to rock with the negative feedback loop, and we've changed out just sort of a mixed bag of different types. We had every type in there, from metal film to metal oxide to carbon film to carbon comp. So that was a real mixed bag, so I just made that all carbon film. It's what I had. And basically carbon comp is my first choice, just to keep the sound original, and then, you know, go from there if there's any noise. Carbon film would be my second choice, just to keep it sort of more on the older organic side of these resistors design. And so I did the best I could with what I had in stock, and that's really all you can do. We've got a really cool tremolo disconnect switch there, the intensity. We'll switch the tremolo right out of the circuit and boost the amp a little bit. We've wired in an NFB disconnect, so that will activate the NFB stock or turn it right off. In a Tremolux, that should be a pretty cool addition. And then just did rewiring of the 3-wire cord rebaked and cooked these to just renew the soldering to ground, and did some other cleanup things. This resistor was just like way out, full leads just hanging in the breeze. It was literally sitting up like an inch, so I just kept that a little tighter, and then checked all resistors, all values. I even checked all the caps to make sure they were still in spec, and replaced the negative bias cap there, and resistor. And the diode was still good. It showed one way of about 495 or 5.5 volts, and then nothing the other way. So that's right in range as I see them. The biggest thing, I think, is taking the JJs out of the output tubes. So I'll replace those with some tongue saws I have on hand. And there was also a bunch of JJs in the preamp tube, so I've replaced those with all kind of vintage tubes where I could. Tongue saw at the, at the worst case newer tube. And then I just kept a JJ in the tremolo driver tube, because I don't think that should affect the tone at all, so why not put a JJ in there where it doesn't matter. So let's flip this thing. I am so close. This is the final step. Dog pan taken off. These were the caps I was using when I just started with this hobby. I had to go somewhere. Now, having refreshed a bunch of amps with F&Ts, these are just generic. I got them from Just Radios. You get them from wherever. And holy smokes, the tone and the vibrancy and everything really sounded way better with F&Ts. I've never used Sprague Adams. They're a lot of money, but I imagine they would do a great job as well. And these aren't that old. I mean, they're still probably in spec doing their thing, but tone-wise, yeah, it is worth it to pay a couple extra bucks per capacitor, and F&Ts keep a reasonable price. And you can also see my work. So I would not do that today. This lead, I would have it much nicer. They're uneven. I would have them all evenly lined now. It just goes to show that, the more we do this stuff, the more we learn how to do it more accurately, or with pride, or with some extra precision. So anyway, let's get the F&Ts in there. If I have metal oxides on hand, which I don't think I do, maybe I will go ahead and change, because that's kind of my new standard at the moment. Oh, here's the date. So 64, 33rd week. And that's definitely the original. And there's another 64 second week. So yeah, it's nice pre-CBS Tremolux. It's a little gangy, it's been lived through and in and around, but yeah, I like it. I like the fact that it's pre-CBS. It's always nice to have. So I know that these F&Ts are working great for me, but if I did buy the Mod brand, they would probably be half the price. So I might experiment one time with those. Okay, and we're done. I just cleaned up these two leads because they're a bit too long, so now they're nice and bedded or rested or whatever. And I also wanted to point out, I measured these, and these things are insane. They're like 1% precision. This one was like 9.93K, and this one was 9.96K. Like, just insane on spec. So we're gonna leave that. For any of you real eagle eye Tremolux knowledgeable people, these are 22 microfarad. Yes, The original schematic is for 16. There's no issue with the rectifier tube that, you know, these are all overloaded or anything like that. It's not going to mess with it. It's totally fine. 22 is not too much more. However, it will make a noticeable difference in the sound as far as tightening up the bass and maybe making it a bit spankier. So on that, if you can hear in my voice, I kind of don't like that because I like to bring it back to how it was meant to sound. But, you know, you do the best of both worlds. I think these are great caps. That's not a massive increase. And we'll see if these do what they did for two other amps that I replaced these old junkers in. It's really quite astonishing. Every little thing adds up to some micro spec of mojo to your amp, and I hope I did good on this one. I was just cleaning the pots here. What? No, the tube sockets with the oxit, and as I like to do. And there's a damn JJ in the phase inverter tube. Goodbye. And I found this old Sylvania 12AT7, so I'm going to put, oh, made in India. Interesting. I wonder how old that means it is. I'll put that in, and that's, I mean, it's better than the JJ. This one in my stash said it tested good, so it means it's not like full strength, but it'll work. I also wanted to show this rectifier tube that's been in it. It's an old Amperex, the Bugle Boy, Great Britain. This, I don't know how old it is, but it's one of the ones that are desirable, so they say, to get the Bugle Boy on it. So that's pretty cool. I'm just about to bias it to see. I'm sure it'll bias a lot different than the JJs. JJs are pretty hot. So these are just some repop tongue sols, so we'll see how it biases up, and these should be matched pretty, yeah, it would be a matched pair, so we'll see how that looks. And then yeah, we'll just plug it into a speaker and see what goes down. So I'm just gonna power up the amp. It's always just get my guitar ready there. So it'd be humbuckers, and then just through the original, like the 210 matching cabinet, which is loaded with 10-inch greenbacks, so 30 watts times 2 speakers. Okay, there we go. I did do the current limiter thing, so we're good there. No light. I see all my filaments coming on, so no issues there on down the line. So yeah, this is still plugged into the current limiter. So 373 plate volts on both, and then the current is like 37 and 36. So we know the tubes are matched. I'll get a better bias when I put it into the wall voltage. That's on a volume of 3 through the normal channel. I'm not in the tremolo channel yet. I'm assuming, you can see my finger maybe here, that that's the NFB is off. So let's turn it on, see if it cleans up. Yeah, I already heard it clean up without even playing. And the volume's at 3. That NFB does quite a number. That's awesome. Quite a bit more volume there, and definitely some extra grit. So that's really cool. We'll get this thing biased properly to about 67-68%. I think we'll go 68. I misplaced my biasing screwdriver, so I just made a new one out of a all metal precision screwdriver set. and just shrink wrapped it up. The head's a little wonky bagoo there, but you know, it's safe. Let's bias. And out of the wall voltage, this seems very high. Yeah, 47 milliamps at 428. On the other one, yeah, 47. Wow, that's hot. So we got to cool this down. That is interesting. Well, this is why I need a calculator. That's bang on perfect. So I had to shut down filming to just calculate what that was at. And 68 on the outer tube. It's flowing 48 milliamps. And 67% of max plate dissipation on the inner tube. So that's actually perfectly biased. I'm just going to leave that alone. And what a great match. So 67 and 68% of 30 watts. She's all right. Life is good for this baby. Okay, and I turned the lights out because I saw something that I always like to see, and I always strive to do. It certainly wasn't doing it before. I'm just about to turn the amp off standby. A beautiful blue glow. That I just love to see. I don't know. Somewhere I heard that's a really healthy amp, and that tube is optimally going. Blue glow, baby. So we're gonna turn it up. I thought it'd be kind of neat to show how the current bounces around a bit. That's with on, obviously, stock NFB. Yeah, so that last clip on normal channel was at 2. The volume was at 2, so it wasn't even close to in the warm, nice zone. So I've just switched it to the vibrato channel, as Fender calls it, but we know it's a tremolo channel. Now that's at 3. That's kind of where you would want to begin to play it. And that sounds so much nicer. The amp is so much louder. These are like a little 210 cabinet. Just on like 3 for speed and up there for intensity. I don't know what it was, but probably about 6 or 7. Oh, that's nice. And that's with a JJ. I just took out the RCA jack for it disconnects the vibrato, so that's gone. But this is with the vibrato intensity switch on. Remember we did, where I showed you the mod that was done to switch the tremolo circuit entirely out of the system. So this is stock, I guess. Doing G to D to A, and I'm going to now switch the tremolo circuit out, and hopefully you can hear a difference. It's basically it's the bare bones circuit, just like the normal channel, although for whatever reason this is louder than the normal channel when you kick the tremolo off. So it's I'm just going to go back to the NFB, which was off the entire time. Is back again. So this is the nice smooth Tremolux that people would expect. Very clean. Then we'll take the NFB off. Watching the current. It's probably the only thing you can really watch right now. But I was curious how much voltage swing that would do, because that was like drawing 68 milliamps there. Yeah, so as the current goes up, obviously the voltage goes down. That's the relationship, and that's exactly what we see there. Now I can switch the NFB off, get a little bit of grit. I can also take the tremolo out of the circuit, which was done already. So maybe that's double grit in a way, because it gets really loud. And then I really do dig the tremolo sound. It's really slow. That's as slow as it goes. That's very slow. So maybe that's about 4.5 now. It's nice and quiet. The amp is really, really behaving well. So kicking of the NFB off there, and then on again. You probably heard the click of the switch. So that's really, really cool, and that's on 5 and 5 bass and treble. So I can definitely dial this thing in even better. But basically just a little tour of a service on a 1964 pre-CBS Tremolux. I wish I had recorded it before, because it really sounds so much better now, and it sounded not too shabby before, but it was just something lacking in it, and it's all come out again. So obviously getting resistors and caps in there fresh does something, but I really do believe the biggest change was the filter caps and getting in the output tubes. And then the rest was just kind of, which resistors you choose and the composition and then getting it in spec. And in the cab here, we see that it was AB763 circuit. That's actually correct. And then these letters NI show from 1950 to the letter N, the 14th letter of the alphabet. That would be 1964. And then I is the 9th letter, so it was September of 1964 when this amp was labeled, done and labeled. And then whenever it got sold to the Fine Viner Music Company, New England's largest and most complete music store in Bangor, Maine. Awesome. Thanks for watching.